if they don't have someone who can win 4 or 5 games by themselves, then they're always going to struggle, because that's what most other counties have. They get by with teamwork and hard work for maybe 4, 5, 6 games. They get by with individual brilliance another 3, 4 games, and that last 3, 4 games is probably what Leicestershire don't have.
You're listening to BBC Radio Leicester Sport on a Tuesday evening. We were hoping to bring you live coverage of Leicestershire's T20 match against Durham. Of course, it's taking place up in the northeast this afternoon at Emirates Riverside. At the moment, though, the rain is causing a bit of havoc up in the northeast. So the next pitch inspection in around 5 minutes' time. We're going to break off on FM at least at 7 o'clock this evening. Aaron Verma will take you through your rest of your Tuesday evening. By the way, if you're just joining us on this Tuesday evening as well, perhaps you've been out after a trip to work, perhaps you're only just getting in your car after finishing work. The breaking news, which sort of developed around 50 minutes or so. Marty Cifuentes is the new Leicester City boss. We were just speaking to Owen Palmer-Atkin around half an hour ago or so, our Leicester City correspondent. You'll get all the analysis a little later on the When You're Smiling podcast. The former Queen's Park Rangers boss has signed a 3-year contract at King Power Stadium, succeeding Ruud van Nistelrooy. I mean, it's only 4 weeks on Sunday, isn't it, until the new championship season gets underway. Cifuentes telling the club website that it's a privilege for him to be asked to become the next Leicester City manager and help write the next chapter at King Power Stadium. All the reaction, of course, on the When You're Smiling podcast over the next few days or so. So cricket this evening, England women in action in the cricket tomorrow. Rose's match in the T20 Blast on Thursday as well. Also on Thursday, well, the start of one of the best weekends in the sporting calendar. The Open is back, golf's 4th and final major of the year. It gets underway. There is Leicestershire interest this year as well. Fraser Jones from Kirby Muxley, he's qualified to play in the 153rd Open. It's taking place at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Now, the 19-year-old qualified to play in golf's oldest tournament after shooting 7 under par across 36 holes at Burnham and Borough, beating the likes of, by the way, listen to this, Ryder Cup players, Chris Wood, Oliver Wilson as well. Well, Chance Litchfield, who I think we can call BBC Radio Leicester's golf nut, has been catching up with Fraser before he flies out to Northern Ireland, and he's been talking about how he made it to Royal Portrush. Of course, the opening day of the Open taking place on Thursday.
Yeah, it was great. It's always been a dream, especially started playing golf at 5, and I was growing up watching the Open on telly, and I qualified through a regional stage, and then
tired of outdated databases
last
and
Tuesday
irrelevant numbers and emails?
Bag, and
Introducing PowerLead,
it was great back
the
nine.
ultimate high-quality contact data solution.
I went
access to unlimited mobile
and to get the fourth place.
Amazing. Well, that's such a great achievement. And to be fair, there's pros in there that have trouble to qualify themselves. But I'm not saying, it was easy for you, but you've really shown some skill in that instance, because Lee Westwood, of course, he went through the same process. Lee Westwood, who has played on the Ryder Cup, of course, for Europe, he had to go through the same process of qualifying like you.
Yes, he did. I think he was up in Scotland, and he won his qualifier. So yeah, it is good to see him. All the names you do watch on TV, they're qualifying as well.
Now, for anybody who is unaware of the Open and maybe isn't a golf fan or doesn't know, it is the most prestigious golf tournament, and it's played on links courses at all different venues around the UK. This year it's Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, and the beauty of it is it's literally that, an open field that people can qualify, but that process to qualify is not just as simple as playing and qualifying, is it? It's quite a rigorous process. How was that for you?
Yeah, so I started at regional qualifying at Linderwood Golf Course, and I was probably quite confident going into that, quite quietly confident. I know if I played pretty well, I'd be able to get through to the final, especially with it being windy. I managed to shoot 3 under on that round to get myself to the final stage at Burnham and Barrow, and then I played decent on the Tuesday for the first 27 holes, and I said to Dad that was on the bag, and we just had a crazy back nine, and just took one shot at a time, and it all kind of worked out in the end. So yeah, it was great.
Were you trying your hardest not to get carried away? Because I know it's such a mental game, golf, isn't it? Were you trying to think, right, just keep calm, let's not let it get to us?
Yeah, the main message we had was just taking one shot at a time, and that helped. And we said not to look at any leaderboards. You know, I made 4 birdies in a row to get to 6 under, and I knew that was kind of around the mark that I needed to be. So I don't think looking at leaderboards was going to change it, how I was going to play 17 or 18. So I just took it one shot at a time, and hopefully that was good enough.
What was it like being alongside some of the big names as well? Who were in the qualifying. What was it like in that instance? You know, being a younger individual, still very new to the game, and you're playing with some older individuals who are quite well versed in, well, just what it's like going through them processes.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you always it's what you practice for. You wanna play against the pros that you watch on TV, and yeah, it's almost like. It's a weird feeling because you always have no pressure because you're not really expected to get through as such. I don't think there was many people expecting me to get through on the Tuesday morning, so you always go out there with no pressure and expectations, which is quite nice.
We wish him well, of course. Fraser Jones from Kirby Muxloe speaking to Chance Litchfield a few days ago. The Open getting underway on Thursday. Live coverage across BBC Sounds and Highlights every evening on BBC Two. As for football, that's rather embarrassing. That's my phone going off, which always turn your phone off when you're a radio presenter. Failed to do that on this occasion. How embarrassing. That's never happened before. Let's talk Harbury Town very quickly. They're gearing up for their new season. Of course, they had a friendly against Telford at Bowden Park the other day. Russell Hobbs was there, and he's been speaking to the co-chairman, Pete Dugan, all about the signings they've made in the close season. How embarrassing that is.
I did it last time. Somebody else can do it.
You'll chat, don't you?
I did it all the bloody time.
Oh, because you've got a lot to say for yourself.
Yeah, I know, very quiet, mate.
Come on then, thoughts? Telford, about 10 minutes to kick off. Thoughts? Pre-season friendly.
Telford, good side. Promoted last year, reinforced, but so have we. Looking forward to a very competitive afternoon.
It's a tough league though now, isn't it?
Very. 5-6 teams that could get promotion. Expect a very long and challenging year. But I think we've reinforced well, so I expect us to be there or thereabouts.
I mean, on a day like this, beer, football and sunshine, it don't get much better, does it?
I think this is perfect. I feel for the players, but for us as spectators, what a wonderful afternoon.
So you'll be following them all season, presumably?
Yeah, that's the hope. Home and away, as much as possible, with my son who's not here today.
Dumped him, have you?
Yes, for beer.
I mean, it was a case of so near and yet so far last season, wasn't it?
It was. It was kind of an up and down season. Tale of two halves. FA Cup first half, struggled a little bit. Turned around at Christmas and made a run for it. And we got into the playoffs just. And to be fair, Kettering were better than us on the night in the semi-final. But we're back again. And like I said, we've reinforced. So we should be there or thereabouts this year.
Cup run or promotion?
Promotion.
I thought you'd say that. How about you, sir? Cup run or promotion?
No. Promotion.
Yeah. You said what you wanted him to say.
Yeah.
Go on then, your thoughts on the season ahead.
This is the first time I've been, so yeah.
So why are you here?
I just thought I'd come down because it was a nice day. Mike invited me.
Yeah. You're doing well.
I've twisted his arm.
Thoughts so far? I mean, I know we're not started yet.
Thoughts on
the place, the
place. I've been to the place before. The place is nice. The people are nice. Yeah, sun shining, beer in hand, perfect.
Does it get any better?
What more can you ask for? Watch a little bit of football. See how they are. That's it.
What could you ask for a win?
What can I ask for one?
Yeah.
What are you going to give me one?
Wish you well.
It's in the lap of the gods, isn't it?
Well, just in case. How about you, sir?
Causes and conditions.
How about you then? Thoughts on today?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah. It should be a good game.
New season?
New season. Yeah. All these new players we got. It'd be good to see them.
All walking out as we speak?
Yeah, as we speak. Yeah. Looks good.
And a reinforced side as well.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing all the new players. Yeah, it should make a big difference this season, I reckon. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to be asking you the question I've asked everyone: promotion or a cup run?
Both, hopefully. Yeah, why not be greedy?
Go on, I'll give you a... Go on, predict a score.
Today, 2-0 to us. Why not?
Why not? You got to start on a high point, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not?
Wish you well. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you.
Russell Hobbs speaking to a few of the Harborough supporters ahead of that pre-season friendly a little earlier on this week. Cricket to come on DAB, Aaron on FM.
At 7 with the BBC News, I'm Carl Hartley. The MasterChef presenter John Torrod has been sacked after a report upheld a complaint that he used racist language. He says he has no recollection of the incident and denies it happened. Our arts and media correspondent is David Silito.
BBC takes this upheld finding extremely seriously. We will not tolerate racist language of any kind. We've told Banijay UK, the makers of MasterChef, that action must be taken. John Torrod's contract on MasterChef will not be renewed.
Two men who illegally cut down the much-loved tree at Sycamore Gap in Northumberland have been jailed for more than 4 years. Daniel Graham and Adam Carruthers felled the tree in 2023. They were convicted of criminal damage earlier this year. Kevin Reynolds is the director of the film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which filmed the tree for the movie.
I'm glad they caught them. I hope that they suffer the harshest penalty allowed by the law. And part of me feels like, it would be just to tattoo the fallen tree on their foreheads so that everybody knows who they are and what they did.
The East and West Midlands is the latest area to declare a drought. The Environment Agency has already said that the northwest of England and Yorkshire are in that category after 3 heat waves so far this summer. England had its driest spring in more than 100 years. The Chancellor has announced measures aimed at invigorating the financial services sector. Rachel Reeves' plans include making it easier for first-time buyers to borrow more and supporting the growth of financial technology firms in the UK. Thousands of Afghans are being relocated to the UK under a secret scheme which was set up after their personal data was mistakenly leaked. A super injunction was imposed in 2022 to block the reporting of both the leak of the names and the existence of the scheme. The relocation scheme will cost up to £850 million. Now, a Warwickshire school has offered unreserved apologies to the family of a pupil who was stopped from making a speech about being British while wearing a Union Jack dress. 12-year-old Courtney Wright wore the outfit to Bilton School in Rugby and had prepared to talk about British values, including fairness and politeness. Her dad, Stuart Field, says although the school has apologised, it's really upset his daughter.
She felt like it's something that she shouldn't have done. That's what's really wrong about this whole situation. She now doesn't want to wear the dress. She told me personally, I don't feel comfortable now wearing the dress and being paraded around at school.
And the RSPCA has urged snake keepers to be extra vigilant in the warm weather after a stray snake was found in a fish and chip shop in southeast London. The corn snake, a pet that had escaped from one of the flats above the shop in Greenwich, was returned safely to its owner. You're now up to date. It's coming up to 3 minutes past 7.
Every Leicestershire T20 game live on BBC Radio Leicester.
Conor O'Grady with you on BBC Radio Leicester Sport on a Tuesday evening. We do hope we're going to give you live cricket this evening. We're hoping to bring you live coverage of Leicestershire against Durham. The Foxes up in the North East in the T20 Blast. A do-or-die match, really, for Alfonso Thomas's side as they hope to book their spot in the quarter-finals of this competition. Their penultimate match of the group stages. They take on Yorkshire, of course, at the weekend at Grace Road. But weather has interrupted that match up in the northeast. There was a pitch inspection a few moments ago. We'll go back to Adam Whitty in just a few moments' time. Elsewhere in the sporting world this afternoon, the breaking news in the past sort of hour or so was announced actually just over an hour ago at 6 o'clock. Marty Cifuentes is the new Leicester City boss. The former Queen's Park Rangers boss, of course, succeeds Ruud van Nistelrooy, who left the football club only a few days ago on the 27th of June. Of course, the Foxes getting their season underway on the 10th of August. 4 weeks on Sunday until they take on Sheffield Wednesday on Filbert Way as they return to life back in the Championship. Elsewhere in football this evening, Liverpool have rejected a nearly £60 million opening offer from Bayern Munich for forward Luis Diaz. The German club approached Liverpool earlier this month. They were told, though, that Diaz wasn't for sale. And Jofra Archer has confirmed and says, at least, that he can play in England's final 2 tests of the series against India. So after what was an astonishing comeback against Lords, what a test series this is proving to be between England and India. And India's side, of course, under new leadership, Shubman Gill has really shone during this trip to British shores over recent months. But it is England, of course, who lead the series at 2-1. The next test getting underway, I think, on the 23rd of August. Elsewhere in the T20 Blast, no other matches this afternoon apart from that match which is scheduled to take place between Durham and Leicestershire. It was actually supposed to get underway around 35 minutes ago. In the South Group tomorrow, though, Middlesex take on Surrey. And then in the North Group on Thursday, Worcestershire take on the Notts Outlaws, and a Roses derby at Headingley between Yorkshire and Lancashire. That one getting underway at 6:30. We are hoping to bring you live cricket here on BBC Radio Leicester this evening. Live coverage of Leicestershire against Durham if and when it does get underway all across our DAB platforms this evening. We can go back actually to the Emirates Riverside now, join up with Adam Whitty once again. Adam, where we had an inspection around 10 minutes ago or so, what's the latest?
The latest, Connor, is that there are ground staff pulling big white covers back over the pitch, and there is rain falling from the skies. So there is another, annoyingly, as I look right above me, there's blue sky. So it's this is going to be one of those really, really difficult nights, I think, where we're on, off. We might make a decision. I mean, literally, it was raining. I could see rain out of the window, and now it's bright blue sky. The weather looks quite favourable, but we've got ground staff over on the far side. They've already covered half of the uncovered pitches. They look like they're going to cover the other half.
Of course, I should actually say that match earlier on in the day that was scheduled to take place up in the northeast between Durham and Surrey at Emirates, the Banks Home Riverside, I should actually call it, at Chesterley Street, effectively, if you want to give it its more traditional name, Adam, was abandoned with not even a ball taking place in the Vitality Blast between Durham and Surrey. I just give me a sense as well from the fans' perspective. How many fans are in the ground at the moment? I assume umbrellas are up across the stands.
No, there were a few brollies. I can see a couple around the ground, but from what I can see, here we go, man opens window live on radio. It is drizzling actually outside. But again, I can mostly see blue sky. Honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen here. I have no idea whether we're going to get some cricket. I have no idea what's going to happen, because every time we're sort of being teased, every time it looks like we're ready to come back on, just before 7 o'clock, I was pretty confident we were going to get some cricket, and maybe a decent amount of cricket too. Now I'm not so sure, because the covers are being put on. It's going to take another 10 minutes to get them off. We might have another inspection in a short period of time. So I'd say we're looking at another half an hour at least, Connor.
And it's 7 minutes past 7 now. We're supposed to get underway around 40 minutes ago. I just wonder, from a Leicestershire perspective, give me an insight into how the players you think will be feeling as they peer out onto the pitch and monitor the conditions, like I think we all are, Adam, on our phones at the moment, watching the radars, going on the weather apps. Because ultimately, let's just remind our listeners, this match really matters from a Leicestershire perspective. They need to win this if they stand really any chance of qualifying.
It's a double whammy, I think, for Leicestershire. Because not only will the boredom be taking over, and as a man who's played club cricket waiting to get back on, and you're not sure whether you are going to, there's a point where you're just begging for an abandonment. However, the Leicestershire players will not be thinking that. They are like you are. Well, no, I'm not necessarily saying you are, Connor, actually, but what I do know is they are complete weather nerds, so they will be always checking the weather apps. I don't know whether you do, Connor. Wouldn't surprise me.
I know what an isobar is.
But they will be checking that religiously. They'll be so desperate to play because, as you said, Connor, anything other than a win tonight means that Leicestershire have no real hope of getting through to the quarterfinals. So that will be a hugely frustrating thing for them. Martin from BBC Newcastle is here. Have you got an update?
Yes, it's been raining, so they're bringing the covers back on. There has been no definitive decision one way or another as whether this is going to go ahead or not. I think the umpires are still playing a waiting game, probably because it's on TV. I mean, it does seem a bit lighter now, but the covers are coming back on. So what time is it now? We're getting towards once we get to 7:30, we're in the period where we're losing overs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there we go, Connor. Yeah, so thank you, Martin. It's Martin Emerson from BBC Newcastle. Look, this is a very, very, very frustrating. Normally you will come to ground and it's pretty cut and dry. You know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen here. It is at the moment very pleasant, but it might be that in 5 minutes' time it's bucketing it down again. Who knows?
Who knows? Indeed, interesting that Martin mentions the TV dynamic as well. I know a certain TV company were planning to broadcast this match this afternoon into this evening as well. From a Leicestershire perspective, I mean, I just briefly touched upon the permutations there. They really need to win 2 of their last 2 matches if they are to stand any chance of qualifying for the latter stages of this T20 blast in this season. Yorkshire to come at Grace Road on a little later this weekend. It's on Sunday, isn't it, Adam? And they take on
it's Friday night, yeah.
Friday, apologies, it was Friday, wasn't it? I'm losing track of what day it is already this week. So yeah, on Friday evening, and of course scheduled to take place against Durham this evening. I just wonder, because it's such a slim chance that they can qualify for the knockout stages, does it take the pressure off from a Leicestershire perspective?
Not now. I think if we had a game on, no. Actually, I think is the answer. They will want to give themselves as good a chance as possible. 32 points would be a good return, and it might well be at 32 points that they went out their net run rate, which there wouldn't be too much shame in that, and they really would have been competitive. And then they'll go, if this game gets either abandoned or they lose, they go to Grace Road, and it's their final chance to entertain a crowd in front of a big county. So I don't think the pressure is off them at all, to be honest with you. This is the big competition. This is the big money maker for Leicestershire. This is the one where most people tune in. Most people are engaged with Leicestershire. Most people go down to the ground and pay attention. So I'm not sure this is where the pressure comes off, and I think the frustration will be there. The frustration will be there for fans if it ends like this. That they haven't achieved what they probably would have set out to. So I think overall, Connor, I think the pressure will be on. I don't think they will feel any release of pressure either tonight or Friday based on where they are in the table.
I just wonder, Adam, is it unfair to compare this Leicestershire side in the T20 blast? And yes, you say it is the golden competition, it is the moneymaker, it's the one that sort of brings in the crowds to Grace Road, whether that's on a Friday night, whether that's on a Sunday afternoon. But is it fair to compare the Leicestershire side in the T20 and that Leicestershire side who, especially at the start of the season, were doing so well in the county championship, and a Leicestershire side who still look on course for promotion back to Division 1 for the first time since the turn of the millennium?
I think in some regards, yes, there's a lot of similarities. I think there's just that little bit of less quality in the team. You look at the batting of Pete Hanscom, international class that comes in the middle order, and even though they've got Shan Masood, who is a quality player, Shan Masood, former Pakistan captain, I just don't think he's quite he doesn't quite make the same contributions that Pete Hanscom makes, and in the same way, Pete Hanscom comes in, plays very, very refined, very good, very diligent, hard-working innings. What Leicestershire would want in this competition is someone who comes and smacks it around a bit, and they don't get that with Shan Masood. And then you have someone like Lewis Hill, who is a very, very good first-class batsman, doesn't quite have the right style to work in T20 in quite the same way. I think he'd probably admit that himself if he was sat in the room with you right now. And then they've missed someone like Sam Green, who has been so good for them. He's on loan at Somerset and plays a big role in their T20 campaign, and has been so key for them in that bowling lineup in the T20. So I think there are key people missing. that have made that county championship team work so well that aren't here this time round, and I think their replacements haven't quite made the same impact.
Just touching upon personnel for a few moments as well. Listen, we might not see any cricket this evening. If we do, though, we might see Michael Salisbury in action.
Yes, and he has been a funny one, really. I mean, it was him who bowled the final over in the reverse fixture, you'll remember, who held his nerve, conceded just 6 off the last over to see Leicestershire home in the reverse fixture at Grace Road. So Matt Salisbury's been on the periphery of the team, and I guess it sort of sums it up, really. Matt Salisbury is a figure in that Leicestershire have had to pick from a different player base, and I think it's... I mean, Alfonso Thomas may disagree, some Leicester fans may disagree, but I don't think it's as stronger and as deeper base of players in the T20 as they do in the county championship. He's bowled okay, Matt Salisbury. He might replace Sam Wood, who has been a bit, who has looked like a young player from what we've seen so far. He's very talented, got a lot to offer, but it might just be that they just want a bit more security in the team. We'll find out if and when we speak to Louis Kimber at the toss. But it would be nice to see him. He has played relatively well, Matt Salisbury, whenever we have seen him. He would be interesting to see if he gets a chance tonight.
Yeah, Matt Salisbury could be involved. We'll, of course, have to wait until the toss. I should just say, for you all listening to BBC Radio Leicester on a Tuesday evening, we are hoping to bring you live coverage of Leicestershire against Durham in the T20 Blast. But, I mean, just like it's been in the East Midlands this afternoon, it's been teeming down with rain on occasions up in the northeast this afternoon. Of course, we are keeping you up to date as to what's happening. There was a pitch inspection around 20 minutes ago. Interesting that you mention Wood, actually, Adam, because his inexperience at times on Sunday, I thought, was particularly shining through. And he has got potential, we should say that.
Yeah, he's 6'4", he's broad-shouldered, he's got the right attitude and application. We've seen him biff a few into the stands in the county championship. Leicestershire clearly rate him. They have put him in and given him a lot of opportunities this year. And with his bowling, he's bowled plenty. He's taken 5 wickets in 6 games. He's been a little bit expensive at 9.7 and over, but that's within the margin of error compared to his teammates. He's only played 9 T20s. I think he's got plenty more to play. I know that they fancy him in terms of age group international cricket too. So this is a guy that Leicestershire really fancy. He's part of that, part of what has been a conveyor belt of young talent that has come through. Josh Hull has, of course, played a Test match for England. Rahan Ahmed has played quite a few Test matches for England. Has played in all 3 formats for his country. So Sam Wood, the latest off that conveyor belt. I think if I don't know whether they pick him tonight. It'd be interesting whether it's him or Matt Salisbury, whether that's the choice. They picked a 14-man squad to come up here to Chester Street, so whether they brought Salisbury in to replace him or replace somebody else, who knows. But we shall see. I'd suggest I'd suggest he'll play Friday night, certainly, if there is either an abandonment or Leicestershire lose today.
I remember talking to him, I think it was against Derbyshire at Grace Road about a year ago, and so obviously he would have only been a year younger this time, 12 months ago, of course, still in his teens, and he always came across as a very experienced head, very mature for his age, and it was really interesting to see, almost as you mentioned there, questions surrounding if he was the next Leicestershire player off that conveyor belt, having already produced the likes of Ahmed, having already produced the likes of Josh Hull. And talking of individuals for a few moments as well, I know we've not seen a great deal of him as of yet, but another youngster as well, someone who's only 20, Josh Thomas, who of course signed on loan from Somerset last week, and has featured in the T20 Blast on occasions.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting. They only bowled him